Hello and welcome to the second part of the Blender 2.9 2.0 tutorial. I hope you liked my liquid simulations, animations, compilations. Really enjoyed it. And today we'll be creating this simulation. Hope you enjoy it. So now let's get right into it. So we open Blender by double clicking. We wait for it to open. It can take quite a while to open. Okay, so now we click on the general file. So as last time we rendered this cube that you see on your screen right now, today I'll be showing you this simulation. So let's get right into it. But before that, I'd like to talk a little about some of these buttons here. This is the render output properties. If you know resolutions like 1080p, 720p, all of that, you can set this to how you want it. This is how sharp you want the picture to be compared to this PNG, this MPEG, FMMPEG video for MP4 videos. This is for pictures. I don't really touch this. I only mostly use PNG and FMPEG video. Metadata, I don't know what that is. I'll close it. Post-processing, you know what that is. Now you see, if you click here, when you render an image or a video, to render it as black and white, this will render it as, it will render all the red, green, and blue channels, whilst this will render red, green, blue, and alpha channels. I don't really know what alpha is, but you could search on it on Google or something. This is a number of color channels. I don't know what that is. But this compression, if you're rendering an image sequence, once you reduce that to zero, as soon as you render some image, you just put it in the folder where you've located. But if you set it to maybe something like 100, it will Blender will compress the pic or the picture and to put it there, and that can slow down your rendering. So we come on to this next part. This part we talked about it in the first part. So I suggest you go watch that part right here. It should be up in the corner here. These are the vectors groups. I think I covered this part. Object constraints. I think I'll cover that in the video. I can't really explain all of these. These are the parts I'm going to be handling for today. This is a particle system. Modifier tab. Okay, so let's get into it. So first, today we are going to create a cloth simulation. Okay, so we press G, Z, and press 1, then enter. This moves it up. Now I want the cloth to have a floor to sit on. So go to the add menu, mesh, and then plane. Up here, the size, let's change this to 10. Maybe let's change that to 20. Okay, this is good enough. So we'll add another plane. You can see it. Now let's move it up, maybe by 3. You see it's huge right now. Let's reduce the size to 3 meters. It's too small for my liking. Let's make this 7. Okay, that's okay. So now we'll go to edit mode by left clicking and selecting edit mode. Subdivide this by right clicking, and left clicking subdivide. Now this number of cards, the higher it is, the more good a cloth simulation will be. So I prefer you set this to a number like let's see, 30, 50, 70. I think 70 will work fine for this. Yeah, it might look a lot, but it will help us in our cloth simulation. So I'll go back to object mode. So now we are going to set the physics for it. You know what physics is, but I'll just explain it quickly as I'm showing you. So we are going to add the collision, which means that we want this cloth to collide with the floor as it does in the real world. So we'll click collision and just leave all these values like that. Click collision on this, but for this we are going to left click cloth. The quality steps are set out to 10. I want this to be realistic. Leave all of this. I wouldn't touch that. Collisions, left click self collisions and select quality steps to 7. That's what I usually set it to. Property weights, I'll leave that. So now under the cache, I think you will bake the simulation. This is a small simulation, so it shouldn't take long to bake. So we can bake it. You see there, it bakes for us. So I think we just wait for it to finish baking. Dun, 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 dun. Whilst you're watching, I'll give you a sneak peek onto what I might be posting on my YTV channel. Maybe this week or next week, I don't know. This is a simulation I was just baking right now using molecular scripts. We'll touch on that in a future tutorial because this is a bit advanced for beginners. So you play the simulation and see what happens. If you like a tutorial on this, please tell me below in the comments and I'll show you where you can get a link to this tutorial. This is was by Motion. You can see I'm rendering it. But let's go back to the sim. So I'll go to my cloth sim. Wait for it to bake. Cloth simulations can be a bit slow to bake. I do not know why. I just remember the more advanced the cloth simulation is, the more longer it takes to bake. So I think I'll just close this. Don't save. Let's go. It's baking. This can be really... I think you can press escape once it gets to 140. Escape. Now you press the space bar to play your sim and see it acts like a real cloth sim. We restart the simulation like this and play. See that? Yeah, you see ends at 140, so let's make it 140. Okay, so now I like the way it turned out, but you can see here that the cloth looks jagged. This have not a cloth will look like in real life. So you right click and shade smooth. You still see it looks weird. So you go to the modifiers tab. You see it automatically adds a modifier, which is the cloth modifier from this physics button. go to the modifier section, left click add modifier, left click subdivision surface and set the levels viewport to 2. This will make it very smooth. And see now this looks like a nice cloth. So now let's go and add materials to this. I think I would like to add a checkered texture to this. So let's go to the shading tab, add a new material. I'll name this cloth. Shift A, and the texture I'll select something checkered texture should be here. Checkered texture. So now go to the checkered texture, connect that to the base color, and see that it creates a checkered texture material. So if you want it, I would like to scale this by, let's see, 10 or 20. Okay, the first color should be color 1. Let's make it green. Color 2, make it bright. Make that blue. See how nice that looks? That's how it looks like. So now restart the simulation. Let's click this. Go to the material button, click new. I want this to make this a metallic floor, so let's set this color here. Left click and drag metallic all the way up and reduce the roughness to maybe 0.2. I think that's okay. The cube, let's give it a color of maybe slightly yellowish. I'm going to render it. Today we'll also be rendering AV, because in cycles I'm rendering other stuff, and that will take something off my GPU. Take quite some time. So you see, when you press 0, it goes into camera view. We want to find a good spot, a good camera angle. First, I would like to add an Hdri, which is high dynamic range lighting or something like that. So let's click this color on this world section. Click environment texture, open. By default, Blender has it has some Hdri stored there. So let's go find out where this Hdri is. So I think we'll go to program files. Is it there? No. If it's not there, go to program files times 86. Just looking for Blender Foundation. Let's go to program files. Blender Foundation 2.92. Blend 2.92. Data files. Studio Lights. World. You see we get some HDRIs here. If you like to see the thumbnails, just left click these icons. Was it this? Left click this. I just left click this button to see the thumbnails of this. Now for this, I would like to use interior, or just select anyone you want. I'll use sunsets for today. Open image. I'd like to set this somewhere. So you see it's over here. Let's drag it this way. Power is very high, so let's set the radius to 7. It becomes bright. Yes. It will soften the shadow. Press Shift D and then Y. hold the control key and then move it here. Yes, so press 0 on the number pad, press N, view, and lock to camera view. Don't worry about these 4 extra tabs. Their add-ons are downloaded. Yeah, so don't worry about it. So as you hold the scroll wheel and hold and drag, you can select how you want to view it. I'll scroll out a bit, maybe there, hold shift, hold the scroll wheel and then pan the view. I think I'll use this. I think this is okay. Press N. Put off overlays. Now if you play you realize it's a bit slow when you play it by pressing spacebar, but it still works. See, that's good. Nice club simulation. So we just start the simulation. Go your EV, just reduce that to 20. You don't really want it sharp. Simplify on. Color management under view transform. I'll select standard, which brightens up the colors. Go to here, reduce this to 75%. Or if you like, leave it at 100. Render the region. Select where you want to save your video. My project files, where it's final. And I'll click accept. From PNG to change to FMPEG video. Change that to MP4 and high quality. So now, once you go, first maybe you would like to save it. You press Ctrl S or save it as Blender Tutorial 2. Press Enter and save Blender file. So press Ctrl S, render, and left click render animation. So that will render your animation for you. And that's it for this tutorial. This week, I'm sorry I might not be able to upload any animations for today. So sorry about that. I've really run out of animation ideas to do. That if you like, please comment below on any animation you like to do, and I'll hurriedly do so. Okay, as you see, it's rendering. Once it reaches 140, then you can watch what happens. So that's enough for this tutorial. But when you finish rendering, go to the folder where you saved it and see that it gives this name. The 0140 shows that it has 140 frames. If it's higher, you understand. Yeah. So I think I'll just minimize this. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and I will see you in the next one.